Hey, good morning, truckers. I'm both excited and apprehensive about this next video. I've been waiting for a roof rack for the longest time. I have been bugging Prinsu to death since November. I have a Prinsu white rack on my Tacoma. I want to match Rocket as much as possible with the Tacoma, just so it's obvious, same owner. But I just Prinsu, it's not a priority on the 2024 to get a roof rack. And I was speaking with the gentleman that runs Spider No Drill, and I always kept them in the back of my head. Again, Prinsu loyal, trying to stay with it, and it just finally I was ready to pull the trigger, and I reached out one last time to Prinsu. They said we don't have a test vehicle yet, so unfortunately that was that. However, silver lining. So got a hold of the gentleman at at Spider No Drill. Told him what I was looking for, Crosstrek roof rack 2024, and that I wanted it white. They offer a custom powder coating. It costs $200, and in my opinion, well worth it. I just unboxed this. It came boxed really well. Everything was sealed, everything was tight, arrived no damage, and even if UPS managed to damage this box like they have with my last 3 deliveries, I have faith with the way that he packed it. It was good. So we got it unboxed because I really wanted to see the quality again. Super Prinsu loyal, and I gotta say, on first look here, I'm very impressed. The white powder coating came out beautifully. It's very professional looking. It's very thorough. I'm looking in the Spider right here in like the little legs and the cracks, and then the wording here. Everything was, covered just really, really well. The other thing that I appreciated is, like my Prinsu, it has these type of slots so that I can put and accessorize anything that I want to. And I'll show you guys my Prinsu rack in a second. But overall, again, looks wonderful. Looking at the powder coating, again, thorough, great coverage, nice and glossy, looks beautiful, no drips. It definitely worth the $200. If you guys are looking for a custom color, I would recommend that option. And then looking at it as well, kind of a, I guess, pleasant surprise, if you will. Prinsu has little tabs, little slot openings that go here, here, and here. And this one has it here, but they're bottle openers. So I thought that was kind of neat. But anyways, so obviously, if you can tell, that's the part I'm excited for. The part that I'm apprehensive about, I have to drop the headliner. And I installed a Starlight kit in my Tacoma, and getting the headliner out was a bear. I'm not sure which I enjoyed least, getting the headliner out or making 960 little holes for the fiber optics to go through, because both sucked and were a process. So this one, again, another difference based on conversation with Prinsu is with the Prinsu one, at least for the 2018 to 2023, they do require you to drill into the top of the car. That's not cool with me. I have no desire. The Spider No Drill roof rack, by name, no drill. But in order to access the install points, I have to drop the headliner so that I can get to the nuts that hold on the rail, remove that, and then everything's gravy from there. So I don't have to remove the headliner from what I understand. We're gonna find out here. But I still have to get it down, and that was quite a process. So we're gonna get into it right now. I do want to show you kind of my setup on my Tacoma with the Prinsu prior to doing the install, just so you guys get an idea of what I'm looking for and how this compares. So we're gonna take this, I'm gonna show you the Prinsu real quick, and then we're gonna get into the install, and then when we're done, take a look at how the Spider lines up on the Crosstrek compared to the Prinsu on the Tacoma. Obviously different cars, different company. I expect there to be differences, but I'm gonna do a compare and contrast, because so far, from what I've seen, for what this gentleman charges, both for the roof rack in and of itself, which comes standard black for the $8.99 price or whatever. But the $200 option, I'm really happy I went with. So we'll see how it lines up. But let's get into it. I'll show you the Prinsu right now. Okay, guys, so this is my Prinsu as it's set up. As you can see, I opted for their handholds. I love the fact that they have this cutout, and I was able to fit your standard generic kind of Amazon rock lights in there, and it illuminates at night, and they're RGBs, so RGBWs, so pure white. So if I'm out, you know, past dusk or whatever on a night run, I can flip them to pure white, or I can make them like running lights. So but overall, you can see I got the white with the black hardware, same look that I'm going for with the Crosstrek. Again, you know, the slots are similar, so I am excited. I'm probably going to actually do this on the Crosstrek. And then I did do the 40-inch cutout on the Tacoma. That was not an option, unfortunately, with the Spider No drill. So we'll see how that is going to come out. I am planning to put, just like this, I am planning to put 12 SS3s on the Crosstrek. I love the SS5s. I just think for the size of the Crosstrek, they look a little too big for my tastes. I've seen other vehicles, they look nice and sharp, but for me, I prefer this. It's a little more slim, streamlined, but this is everything we got going on. And then I will be putting whips. So if you look right there, that's where my whips are. And then I've got a chase bar, a couple of chase bars that'll be going on as well. I have traction boards that'll be going on this for obvious reasons. And then I am going to be adding a case for all of my recovery gear on the Crosstrek as well. And then lastly, I'm adding a small case on the other side because I got mini traction boards, and that's gonna house all of my shackles, snatch blocks, things like that. So that's the Prinsu as it's set up on my Tacoma. And this is the setup for the Crosstrek right there that we are going to try to replicate. So we want that look on this. So now we're gonna get into the install. Now you guys know what the goal is. Let's see how we do, huh? Okay guys, so the first thing to note, this did not come with install instructions. And when I went to the Spider Roof Rack site, there's no PDFs, there's no links to videos on install. So I'm gonna be kind of figuring this out on my own. There's some videos for like the Outback and a few others on how to lower the headliner. So I guess I'm gonna go ahead and look at those to get an idea. But y'all can thank me later, because if there's install instructions, they're not obvious. And there's no like little documentation with a QR code that says, you know, go here, or any paperwork even with an invoice. So if you're from Spider, you might want to look into that, because majority of your people are not going to be going to your shop for install. They're going to be doing this in the driveway like me. And right now I'm kind of, I mean, roof racks are straightforward, don't get me wrong folks, but I'm a little surprised. So here we go. I guess this is your defining guide for the Gen 3 Crosstrek Sport. And I am not sponsored. I paid the same price that you guys did, so we'll see if we endorse them after the fact. But again, I received zero compensation for any of this, but apparently I'm doing the defining install video. So, okay. All right guys, so as pointed out, there's no videos that I could find easily about how to remove or lower the headliner on your 2024 Crosstrek. So we're gonna focus on that. Looking at it, it doesn't look like it's gonna be, I don't know, like you're trying to disarm a nuclear weapon. It looks relatively straightforward if you're familiar with it. So I've done this already in my Tacoma. It was a pain in the butt, and now we're gonna do it on this, and we're gonna have to figure it out on our own. So a couple of things right off the bat that are obvious for tools we're gonna need. You're gonna need a body removal tool. This is just a, you know, piece of plastic so you don't mar the interior trim plastic. We're gonna need a flathead because we have a couple of the buttons that we're gonna have to install where you put it in, flip it, pops out a little center button, and you remove it there. And then we're also gonna need a number 2 Phillips because there's a couple of Phillips heads that we're gonna remove just looking at the back. So we're gonna focus right now on just the back, get into it. I'll bring the video around. Here we go. Okay guys, so as we get into this, we're going to start at the back because the way that the roof rack that we're installing, which is part of this video, is that you have your mounting points basically right here, and then where the grab handles are. Then you have one way towards the front, but 2 out of 3 of your mounting points are in the back. So we're going to start there. Again, we just need to drop the headliner. We don't need to completely remove it. But in looking at this, very first thing I did was flip the seats down because the headliner goes down into this here and actually up here as well. And this is all held together by plastic. So what I want to do is actually loosen this panel right here, and in doing that and looking at it, I have a Phillips head right here, I have a Phillips head right here, and I have a plastic button push right here. We're gonna grab the camera and kind of zoom in on that, but that's what we're gonna start with right now. Again, I just need to pull this back enough so that I can free the headliner, which tucks in and under this piece. So I don't need to do a full-on removal, but we'll get into it right now. Okay guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is remove this screw that's right here with our number 2 Phillips. And we're gonna wanna save these. So mine came with a cargo mat, I'm just gonna put it there. So we have this screw undone. There's another one that's right here. The video's just out of shot, but it's just right around this corner. We're gonna undo that one. Okay, and we secured that screw. So we put that aside, and this is kind of loose. Once there, we're just gonna leave it. The next thing we do is we're going to need our flathead. Right here is a button head, and I'll show you guys. It's got one of those things where you put the screwdriver in, kind of twist / pop, middle pops out, and then you can just slide it. It's like a plastic rivet. There we go. Okay, and so that's this guy, one of these. You'll see it looks like this. You just put your screwdriver in to that little tab, twist if you can, pops up just a little, and then you can pull it straight out. So we got those 3. I don't see any other points, so the first thing we're going to do is grab the top and just pull. There we go. So this is virgin plastic, if you will. So I've never done this. It's going to be a little tighter, as it always is. There's something. Let me swing to the other side. So this. Okay, we're going to need our plastic trim removal. And what I'm gonna do right now is there's a plastic piece on the inside. It's a little gasket for the door. I'm gonna try getting it from there first. So I slipped it in between the door and this. There it is. Okay, so we got that. This piece wants to come, and this is, now we're getting into the part, this is why we loosen this. So we're gonna take our plastic trim on this side and continue to pull or push or whatever we gotta do. There it is. All right, so I got that done, and we're going to continue here, kind of. Like I said, this is brand new plastic, so I've not had to do it prior. I'm not sure. Hold on. All right, there's a little plastic. Let me do this down, excuse me. So there's a little plastic thing right here, little cover. We're gonna try to pop that off. It is not easy. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's your emergency, in case anybody's wondering. Hold on. So just so you understand, that's your emergency in case somebody's ever, trapped in the back. So that's not quite what we're looking for, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt. But this is the Phillips we did, the other Phillips, and then pop-out screw. And then, as you can see, we kind of jammed it in there. It's kind of held up at the moment. Let's put you guys back here. Okay, so again, go down. There it is. So, okay, so there. Now it's separating. And that's what we wanted. There it is. Every now and then leave that plastic pry tool in place so you don't pinch your fingers. But there we go. So we're just kind of walking down the line to separate this. Sorry. There we go. Let me get on the other side real quick. Here's the piece we separated earlier. Okay. All right, so probably there, fingers here. Don't pinch the fingers. There we go. All of this is kind of interlocked, so this is not exactly a lot of fun. Okay. We removed this piece in the back. This is just where the foot is. It just pulls straight up. You gotta lift the seat a little. But in doing that now, I was able to access a little bit more, I think. There we go. So once you get that popped, you really just gotta kind of grab this, and again, it's super tight from the factory, so something tells me there we go. Okay. Need this back more. There. Jeez Louise, man. There. So I really had to pull on that to get it separated, but now I can see where I'm getting held up. There's a white little clip under this part. There's a little button right here that's tripping me up. So again, pry tool. Now I can see it and pull sharply while man, this thing does not. All right, I am going to use a screwdriver just because this thing isn't strong enough. These are super tight from the factory, but there's a little white one right here. There it is. Okay. Okay. Now we should have this good enough. Seatbelt might be dragging on it a little. It's not held there. It's not held there. It's, there we go. Now it's completely separated from this lower piece, and we can grab it, finagle it with the seatbelt. Sorry guys, so you can see, finagle it with the seatbelt, and then we're gonna drop this. Okay, so cool. That's how you get the back side off. The other side is identical. There's a little light in place of what was there. So I'm gonna go do that back side real quick. Again, I mean, looking at it, the same screws that I just undid are the same ones I'm gonna undo over there. So identical process, but I'm gonna pause the video. You guys can see now we have access. Here's your roof, right? So here and here is your roof. This is just going to drop down. We're going to have to address these handles, which could get interesting as well. Looks like they got a little screw thing, no big deal, but that's where we're at. So I'm going to go get the other side, and then we'll pick up the video. And it looks like the next part is going to be addressing the handles that are up over there. So we'll be right back. Okay, we got the driver's side off. So really quick, it was identical. So you're gonna wanna do the screw here and here, and then the button right there. And then you swing around and you need to remove this guy. And you just do that by pulling straight up. And then at the top of this, start by separating this. And then once you get a little separation, this will sit in here, and you need to pull it this way away from it so that you can clear it. And then you can drape it down. And now you can see we've got access there. And the next thing we need to do is remove that guy. So we're going to get into that. I am going to do the passenger side first without you guys because it'll be identical on the driver. And then I will start the video and walk you guys through that. So stay tuned. Of course, of course. Okay guys, so this next part's going to be a little tricky because I got to hold the camera and do this at the same time. So to remove your rear handles, flip that down and you'll see that little tab right there. Get yourself a hook tool or a little screwdriver, put it down in there, twist towards you. There we go. So we're trying to get this little hook back. We're going to twist towards us. So I'm just going to jam it down in there. There we go. This isn't going to work. So anyways, look. We put this down in there, and then you get a screwdriver and go up at the same time. So pull this back, and then you get a little screwdriver, put it in there, and it slides up. So hold on. I'm gonna get the tripod. Okay, I had to do a little finagling. So I showed you guys the close-up. Here it is. So we're gonna take our little hook tool, pull this back, grab our screwdriver. There's a little slot go up and like that. Pull this back, slides right out. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. It's identical for the passenger. It'll be identical up front as well. So we're gonna go ahead, got our hook tool, and I'm gonna pull that back and then put this in and kind of jimmy it up. There it goes. Okay, pull this back, slide it up and out, put those somewhere secure. This comes straight out, and then you just grab these, and traditionally they'll pinch right out. So oh, these just slide in. So just to clear this, which we did there, we can slide in. All right, and then we've got all of our stuff here. So we need to go back to the back because there's 2 buttons that I missed. The passenger side's already done, so I'm gonna take the camera, bring you guys with me. We're gonna undo the top, and then we're gonna pry down, and we should see this drop to about here, and then we're gonna have to come in and address this, which is no big deal. It should just pop right off. And then probably the A-pillars as well, again, should pop off. Then we'll go ahead and get the front handles, and hopefully that's going to give us enough room that we don't need to completely lower the headliner, because if we do that, then we start getting into the visors, the overhead console. This little light's usually attached. It wasn't the Tacoma, so no big deal there. But I guess while we're here, we're gonna no, you know what, I'm lazy and I don't feel like cutting, so basically, where are you? Yeah, that guys. So these 2 guys right here are gonna need to come undone. Excuse me, there's 3 of them, so we're gonna get into that. I'll pick up the video there. Oh, so these are little pop style buttons too. So be careful. You just want to grab the outer edge and kind of twist it down, because there's a small piece of plastic underneath. There we go. And we'll do this last one right here. There we go. So just so you guys can see, there's a little piece of plastic that goes right there, which is kind of annoying, but whatever. All right, and then we just grab, pull down. So no big deal. This is the only kind of button that I've dealt with on these things that really does that. And like some of the other stuff, virgin plastic, so these things are a little on the tight side. There we go. There's one more, and there it is. Oop. Okay, so guys, just so you see, they're like this little sandwich thing. So in the vehicle, they're like that, and then this causes this to expand and hold it. So when we slide it, it allows the little button part here. So when we slide it open or pop it open, it allows this part to close. So we got that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're gonna take our pry tool now. We're gonna go between this gasket and the headliner. Just kind of stick it down in there and pull. So far, so good. Yep, everything came down. So in order to get those clips out, actually, you can't just squeeze them and pull out. So now that I've got some clearance, there we go. So we're actually dropped all the way to there. Now I need to remove the A-pillars, so we're gonna go do that next. Okay guys, so I need to back this piece out a little. because I need to pull the liner there, and then we're gonna have to remove these. But the first thing we're gonna have to do is remove this, which is easy. I've done it previously. It's in my install videos for the radio. But we're just gonna grab it. It just lifts straight up, so no big deal. Be gentle as I'm capable of being. And yes, it's dirty. I use it. Shut up. Okay. There we go. So there's like a little piece that slides in there. It's no big deal. Okay. So we got that. All right, now we need to disassemble this, so we'll pick that up. Okay guys, so as we get through with this part, it's being so difficult. There we go. It just pops. There's just a little pop thing in there. There. Right, let's get that out of the way. Okay, so we got this piece now, which is cool. Let me go get my pry tool. Okay, so we just need to pry. This part needs to come back, but it interlocks here. So we're gonna do this part first. So there's a gasket right here. You just put your pry tool, and there we go. All right, let's try starting at the bottom, which is where we should have started to begin with. Bro, okay, so there we go. There's these little hooks that hook onto the rubber gasket. Okay, so now we're going down, and just kind of walk up as you can. So there we go. Okay, we got this part done. Now we're gonna go do the other. So same thing on the back side. I'm just putting the pry tool between the rubber gasket. Start at the bottom, ideally. There we go. Start at the bottom, it's easier. You just kind of walk it up the line. Okay. This part, so the seat belt, pull it out, shuffle it all the way down. You do not want to make this part easy. Okay, good. So that part's done and out of the way. We're just going to swing it a little towards the back. Get it out of there. Now we've got this piece, and this piece is actually held on by a socket. So we're going to need a tool. Okay, so we got the bottom part off. Work it from the bottom and go up. Now we need to remove this piece, which has, excuse me, the seat belt. So if we go and take a look at things, we've got a bolt right there that's going to need to come undone. So we're going to take off this bolt. It's 10 mil, and then we should be able to pry the rest of this off. So let me go do that real quick. Okay guys, so this next piece is going to be a little finagling. So we need to remove this part. There's a 10 millimeter bolt right here. So once you get this plastic piece that we removed out of the way, you need to remove this bolt, and then you pull back on your seatbelt thing and then pull up right there. And then you just kind of finagle this out of the way. There's no scientific methodology to it. It just kind of finds its way through manipulation and then just automatically starts coming off like that. So there's the pull tab. Actually, we're going to put this back in because I don't want to lose it. So and then we need to remove this. Once you can get this removed, which is going to be either a 10 or a 12 millimeter, then we'll be able to just remove the rest of this piece. So let me go get that 10 or 12 right quick. Hold on. All right, guys, so I said that it was a 12 or a 14. I got both right here. It looks more like a 14. Let's see. It is. So we got our socket again. Lefty loosey. Go ahead. Now, this is your seat belt, so of course it's going to be a little bit harder. There. We're going to go ahead and classify this under bolts you really don't want to lose. So, okay, this came undone. It's actually in there, so that's good. All right, we'll put our sockets to the side. Got our cover off, got our bottom off. This is where the 10 mil was, so I'm just gonna grab this and pull straight out. And there we go. So now the headliner that we did earlier can continue to drop. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to remove these handles, which is identical to what we did earlier. So we grab our hook, we're gonna pull back, lift up at the same time, pull those out. I don't need to walk you guys through that again, so I'm gonna do it real quick, and then we're gonna continue lowering. I'm gonna show you guys where the exposed nuts are. Hopefully, if we remove these fronts, we can drop this down enough to where, and we'll flip our visors forward, but hopefully we can drop this down enough to where we can access here, because we've already got our access towards the back. So cross your fingers, toes, and eyes, guys. Okay, guys, one of the things that's preventing us from lowering this down even further is this light. So we're gonna need to remove it. This is usually pretty straightforward. Just kind of get your body removal tool, get in there, twist, there it is, and it drops. Now we should have a little more flexibility, so you can let this dangle. I've got almost enough room on the driver's side to get in there. This is going to help for the rest. So we went ahead, we lowered it, and make sure nothing else there. So pull down. There's 1, 2, 3 secure, so go ahead and you pull down here, and it's going to give us the room we need for the rest of the install. So you're going to need to do that. Just put your pry tool, do it, pull straight down. You're good to go. This will let you lower it, and the install will be nice. Based off of what I've seen, we are not going to need to play around with the visors. So what we have undone so far here, that is lowering the roof liner so that you can get to what you need to. All right. All right, guys, so we got everything lowered. There it is. Remove that middle part. Got the handles done. Now we need to get the factory ones undone. And in order to do that, we're going to need to access those two. Let me show you here. Those two right there by the yellow wire. And then there's 2 more. Let me do this up. There are 2 more right there. And then there are 2 more. You can see it way up there when I go down. So those 4 bolts are, those 4 nuts are going to need to come down. And if you're curious on which ones, like you get a little lost, look for the red. They put Loctite on it, so inappropriately so. But so there's the first set right there. 1 is going to come undone, 2, and then there's 3 right there. So we're going to undo those. Those look to be 10 mil nuts. So we're gonna do it on each side is identical, and then get these roof racks off. So I'm gonna go do that and we'll pick up from there. All right guys, so we got all 12 of our nuts removed, 6 on each side. So 2 at the front, 2 middle-ish, rear-ish, and then 2 at the rear. Now all we have to do is basically just lift up on this and get it up and out of the way. So I'm going to manipulate this forward so it stays out of the hole, swing to the other side. It's not heavy. If you don't have crossbars, you can take it off one at a time. I do. You can also get somebody else to help you. There we go. And here we go. All right. So got that up, and again, not heavy, just awkward, big. And there we go. All right. Move that out of the way. And here we go. So I've obviously got to wrap. I got to clean out. This is a temporary solution. I got to clean some of these up. You know, ideally, I can tell you in the Tacoma, you just go down right through here. So this still has screws. We're going to need to get some clear sealant or caulking. That's definitely going to be on the list. But in the meantime, I still got a little work to do. I'm going to clean this up, grab my wrap, finish this job, and then we'll pick right back up with the actual install part of the new roof rack. All right guys, so it's off, cleaned up, ready to go. Inside is a hot mess, as to be expected. So now we get our next phase. So there's a couple ways that you can do roof racks, and I've done it both. So you can actually just start assembling like the side rails, and then you bring in the cross members and all that. In reviewing this, I think what we're going to end up doing here is assembling it here on the ground, and then fitting it up top, because I need to use RTB sealant. So that in mind, this is the parts that come with it. So you're going to get 12 spacers. These are all the same. You are not going to get these. In fact, these are your factory ones. Save them. Again, no instructions are included telling you to save them, but it's always a good thing I did, so that's good. They included some extended bolts, which match up with these and are going to account for this. So that's good. There's 12 there, then there's 12 washers. So this is our attachment points overall. You then get 2 black bags of parts. Here's one that I left in, here's the other that I spread out, and you're gonna get these T-nuts, and there's coincidentally 10 T-nuts. Well, there we go. We have 10 holes on the wind fairing. So I think it stands to reason that with 10 T-nuts and 10 definitely shorter than what's in here, so 10 of these, that this is the bag for this front, and then you have a bunch of washers, which is going to go for both. So the bag with the T-nuts and the smaller bolts and all the washers are for this. This one, which doesn't have washers because we have a bunch of extra ones there, This one is for these. You can see that they screw right in. And then there's one, excuse me, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cross members, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 for that. So we're gonna put this together. A lot of this is just gonna be, it's an Allen wrench. So we're gonna lay it out on the moving mat, put it together. We're not gonna fully crank it down. We're gonna just kind of finger tighten it. And then we'll get it up onto the car, and we're gonna save that part because I need to get some RTV sealant into these where it connects to the roof to make sure that that does not develop a leak. So that's your next step. Go ahead and put this all together. I'll pick up after I'm done and just go over everything real quick. Okay guys, so midway through, we're done the install. I just want to take a second to show everybody something. So really easy on pre-install. The most important thing is to make sure you don't get it wonky. So we took that one, slid it all the way to its back. Then we took these and just slid it all the way to its channel. The last one can only fit in one way. There's no wiggle room, literally. So we're gonna assemble it like this, and obviously we're gonna replicate the same on this side. However, we didn't tighten it and crank it all the way down just in case we need to make some adjustments once it's up on the truck. What I wanted to take a minute to show you guys was this. These are T-nuts, and you need these in order to secure your wind fairing to this one. So after I've already tightened that side, well, again, finger tightened that side, but to use these you need to get them on first. You'll need 5 on the top and 5 on the bottom. So they just slide into this channel right like that, and then they slide in. You need 5 at the top and you need 5 at the bottom. So there was the top, there was the bottom, and you just continue feeding these in. Now, the other thing that I'll tell you is that when we put this together, I'm definitely gonna not only go just finger tight, I'm actually gonna back it off so there's a little bit of wiggle room, because we have to put the plate on and it won't want to go with this. So we're gonna do the 5 there, 5 here. Then we're gonna go ahead and secure one at a time as we go through, and then we'll just take these, and like I said, they slide, so we'll just get them in position with the front and then tighten that down. So we'll pick up once this is all assembled. All right guys, so this is what I mean when I say less than finger tight. We have a gap all the way down. The reason why is now we're gonna start doing this. Now, as I mentioned, you needed to put your T-nuts conveniently right there in advance. And to move these along, the easiest thing to do, grab your front fairing and lay it out like where it's gonna go. And then, excuse me, go ahead and grab yourself a spare bolt, put it in slightly, and just slide it. Slide these generally into the position that you think they're gonna be at. That's good. And the bottom one. So I like to use these because sometimes the T-nuts will catch on the inside rail, especially when it's brand new. So this just makes it easier to slide along. So grab yourself, grab that, line them up, and screw them in. All right. All right, guys, so everything's assembled, semi-tightened, just again, finger tight. This is what it looks like. So I pre-built this as we covered, and if you do this, which I recommend, and I learned from the Prince rack, just stay consistent. So your back rail, just slide it all the way back. The rest of these, I just slid it all the way to the front, and then I did the same on that side. This way I know this is, you know, true square and good to go. So everything here just kind of, there's holes in the actual bar, so you just slide it through and finger tighten and then you're in. I definitely recommend, because this is aluminum and these are steel, finger tighten a couple of turns first and then tighten all the way down, just because you may strip it. Aluminum is obviously softer than steel, so missing 2 black washers, but whatever, I'll deal with that at Home Depot. And then that little trick that I showed you guys worked. This is all nice, centered, and good to go. So we're ready to take this and put it on that. Last thing that we need to do is we just need to put this weather stripping on the bottom, and that's really important to protect the top of your roof. So I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna get this thing up. Okay guys, so we got the roof rack into position, as you can see over the holes here. So the next thing that we need to do, and again, I'm going off of my experience of installing roof racks. Next thing is we need these spacers, and in conjunction with that, we need this. It's this is called Lexel. Loctite makes clear sealant. You basically just want like a clear or a white, depending on your car, ideally clear universal sealant. And what we're gonna do is put our spacers in, but we're going to coat the top and the bottom with this so that it doesn't drip into the roof liner. So that's a very critical step. All of these are critical. There's not a step that you can just skip, like, I mean, I suppose that could be one. It's gonna cost you a lot more money and heartache though if you don't do it. So get some of this. In the description, I'll put that it is a requirement, but you definitely need some sort of RTV sealant. Keep moisture, rain, all of that out. So I'm gonna go ahead. We have 12 of these to do. So again, I'm just gonna coat the top, coat the bottom, put it in, and then we'll get to the screw part. So I'm gonna do that now. All right guys, I guess if I'm gonna take the time to do the video, let's do it thoroughly. I hate videos where they're like, oh, just do zip, 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 and then boom, next thing like, okay, you're done. You're sitting there going, how the hell are we done? So we're gonna do this front driver, and the way that we're gonna do this, guys, is, all right, cap is off. I'm just gonna do this one at a time. So I'm gonna put a ring around this one, like that. And then I'm gonna put a ring around this one. It doesn't matter which one you decide to use as top or bottom. They're, the same top or bottom. So we've got this. We're gonna lift it up just a little and put it over that hole. And then we're gonna do the same thing for the next one. And just put a ring around it like that. Put the sealant and a ring around it here. Now that's nice and sealed. Again, lift up just a little and drop it right over. So we've got that nice and sealed now. What we're gonna go ahead and do before we move to the next one, we're gonna take those longer bolts I told you about. So here's the longer bolt. We still need to use the factory nuts that came with it, but what we're gonna go ahead and do is feed this in now so that, here we go, so that as we go to the other ones, this one doesn't shift out of place. Yep, okay. So those two are in. So now we're gonna do that same thing for the remaining 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes, or excuse me, 5 locations, which is 10 in total using this. And then what we're also gonna do, I think, when we're done, is we're just gonna drop a little bead around the outside. There is some room here to get in there. So that's just me being a little anal retentive, but I'm gonna go do the rest. We'll pick up from there. Okay guys, so we've gone and done our other holes. So this is the driver's side. What I'm gonna go ahead and do now, and what I would recommend you at home do, all of these are down and into position. When I was trying to kind of jimmy it up to slide the spacer in, it did want to move around. So what I'm gonna do before I start the other side is I'm just gonna put the factory nut, thread it and tighten it just a little, again by hand, so that when I start to do the other side, this doesn't slide around. I'm not gonna tighten it all the way because we're still gonna wanna maybe move this around to make sure that it's, you know, correct left, correct right, not wonky. You don't want wind noise, that'll lead to wind noise. So, but we are gonna drop the factory nuts in right now just to hold this into place. So I'm gonna do that, then I'm gonna do the other side. And realistically, once you get all that taken care of and you get all of these nuts in, get this straightened up, tighten it down, put everything back, and you're done. So next part of this video is really kind of going to be reviewing, I think, the fit and finish. So thanks, see you soon. All right guys, so we got it on. Behind me is my truck with the Prinsu rack. Overall, I will say quality wise, very pleased with the product. The Spider no drill roof rack is, I mean, the powder coating, well worth it. Well worth the $200. It is very thorough, very clean. You know, there's no lack of coverage in any of the holes or nooks or crannies. The build in and of itself is, I mean, it's identical in quality to the Prinsu. So I'm very pleased with it. If it wasn't for the little spider logo, these things would be pretty dang close. So not overall pleased with the lack of instructions and having to figure it out, but you guys have me, and if you're watching this, now you know how to install it. It really wasn't that difficult. It's very straightforward. So luckily I had experience dropping the roof on my Tacoma, and it was pretty identical here. We already covered how to go ahead and do that. So once that was removed, this was super easy. Everything screwed in like it should. Putting it together in the driveway before mounting it to the top was definitely the right move, and I'd recommend all of you at home do that. By far the easiest. But overall, very pleased. We have everything nice sealed. We got our caulking in. The T-slots are great. I can tell you guys at home, if you're looking for something like, okay, how do I attach it? On this, it has channels right here. A 1/4-inch carriage bolt fits perfectly, and the little square on the carriage bolt will actually lock into this channel, and then you can tighten it down. So if you want to save yourself some money, head to Lowe's, Home Depot, any of the home improvement. 1/4-inch carriage bolt slides right in there like money. So go ahead and get that. But yeah, overall, I mean, just really pleased with it. It looks great. Exactly what I was hoping for. So can't beat that. Definitely would recommend this product, especially buddy now with this installation video. I am going to get a hold of the gentleman and let him know that we published this and be like, yo, there's no instructions. Maybe I just missed them, and he can provide me a link, and if he does, I'll update that in the description. But if he doesn't, you guys now have a guide on how to get this installed. It looks clean. I am not a rooftop basket type of person, obviously. I know that that's a very big trend in Subaru, but this thing will hold, I believe, 300 pounds of dynamic weight, and what that means is weight that kind of shifts around. So like somebody standing on the top of it, if you will. Don't stand on top of your Crosstrek. But also I believe it's 600 pounds of static, which is your rooftop tents and everything. So it'll hold your rooftop tent plus, you know, the people that are going to be sleeping in the rooftop tent. So still got a couple of things to do. I got a mole panel I want to add right there. And I got a ladder to put on. I got a couple of some storage boxes that are like rifle cases. We're gonna take that out. No, we're not putting rifles in there. That's how I'm gonna put my recovery gear. I have some traction boards that are definitely going to be going up there, and another box that's going to hold all of my soft shackles and snatch blocks and other recovery gear as well. So we're definitely going to make the use out of this, probably put an awning on it as well. I'm not an RTT type of guy, so I don't see that happening, but yeah, very pleased with this. Definitely recommend it. Definitely a quality product, and definitely worth the money I spent. So and again, I paid the same price as you guys. I got no special discount, no special treatment. The communication from the gentleman that sells this was great. So definitely recommend the product, and definitely recommend the company. So thanks for tuning in. If this helped you at all, please subscribe, please like, and please leave a comment. If you need to get a hold of me directly, you can join me on Instagram and follow me under _snot_rocket. Hit me up there, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. Other than that, I'll check the comments every now and then. So if I see a comment in there, I'll try to answer it, usually within 24 hours. Thanks, guys.